Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the final session of our fall webinar series. Thank you for joining us as we wrap up our journey of exploring top international universities. Over the past few weeks, we have introduced 9 incredible institutions from Austria, Germany, Spain, France, the US, and the UK, and today, the Netherlands. I'm very excited to have Radboud University from Nijmegen in the Netherlands as our guest this morning. Radboud University offers many English-taught bachelor's and master's programs and is known for its cutting-edge research and diverse programs across fields such as neuroscience, molecular life sciences, and artificial intelligence, and much more. Today's webinar is organized by Global College Advisors, and you will hear more about GCA in just a moment. Before we start the presentation, I want to mention a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A function instead of the chat. We will have a Q&A session after the presentation. Finally, this webinar is being recorded, and we plan on posting the video on our YouTube channel later on. So please check the Global College Advisors YouTube channel if you would like to rewatch some of the information that will get shared today. And with that, let's move on into some introductions. For those, and I'm sorry, I'm interrupting this real quick because I am not sure, but I think the recording... No, it is recording. I'm so sorry. I thought it is not recording. So I just wanted to make sure we have everything in place. So anyway, yes. So for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Cornelia Betschart-Fortes, the founder of Global College Advisors, also GCA in short. We connect students with universities all over the world, including the United States. Global College Advisors provides personalized college consulting and helps students explore both US and international options to find the best academic and financial fit. From college research to application strategies, we are here to support students every step of the way. Today, we are all here to learn more about Radboud University, one of the top research institutions in the Netherlands. The university is known for its strong focus on interdisciplinary education and offers 14 bachelor's and 35 master's programs that are fully taught in English. And with that, I would like to introduce our speaker this morning, Dr. Hab Nijssen. He is the Senior Internationalization Officer and as such coordinates the International Office and the Admissions Office of the Faculty of Science at Radboud University. As a former researcher in linguistics at the Max Planck Institute for Psycholinguistics in Nijmegen, Hab was the founding father of the international recruitment of the whole university 23 years ago. He is responsible for the international cooperations of the Faculty of Science, such as scientific projects, joint degrees, and international recruitment. And he also supports international students with their transition to life in the Netherlands and advises on PhD possibilities and grants and scholarships. Welcome, Hubs. So happy that you can be here with us today and tell us more about Radboud University. I will stop sharing my screen and please go ahead and take it away from here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. For me, it's evening, but it's early in the morning or noon, perhaps, at your side. So here it's really starting in the evening. Well, I was already introduced, so Radboud is a strange name, of course, for you. And Radboud was the guy living about the year 800, and he founded the first hospital in the Netherlands. So that is why we mentioned, we gave the university our name. And why the Netherlands, perhaps you would say? Well, it's top quality and it's affordable for a lot of people at least. We have really good career opportunities in the Netherlands, and yeah, we are lacking people who wanted to work in the science field, so you're welcome to do so. We have a lot of English programs, and it's a multicultural society, and yeah, student life is also very rich. That is what I'm going to tell you in the next small hour, I would say. Yeah. Well, where are the Netherlands? Then I hope that you will know it, but not to make it chill. And then you see also the spot for Nijmegen. That's at the border with Germany. So in the east of the Netherlands. The whole country is only 100 kilometers broad, so it's very, very small. In your opinion, it's nothing. No, it's as big as Los Angeles, perhaps. No, but yeah, for us, that is a bit different because we are living in the border zone and Germany is only 2 kilometers. But it's another country, it's another language and other habits. Yeah. Perhaps you know the Netherlands about mills and water, etc. Well, we do have two mills in Nijmegen, but they are not as impressive as these are. They are, yeah, Nijmegen looks a bit different as this typical Dutch area. So here you have a picture of the central marketplace with the big church and a few medieval houses, but yeah, the city was bombed in the war, so it's more a modern city, but it's the oldest city of the Netherlands, much older than Amsterdam. We are 2000 years old, and you find Roman parts in the city center too. But yeah, no, that's you have to look for them. It's not that we have a huge building like in Rome, of course. But it's a nice city to live in. It's about 180,000 inhabitants, and it is at the bank of the river Rhine, which splits up when it comes into the country. And this is the southern arm of it. And yeah, that is called the Waal. And you see here nice islands where the students often have their summer parties and play some beach volleyball and yeah, go for a swim or rowing in the river. Eh? That kind of nice things also belongs to student life. Yeah? Well, you do all by bike or bus. You don't need to go by metro or something like that because it's yeah, a small city compared to Los Angeles. It is only a small area, and you cycle from one end to the other one, let's say in half an hour. And it has nice parks and yeah, also an opera house, and it has a nice area at the bankside where a lot of ships are turned out to be theater halls or concert halls in a ship. Yeah, so that is typical Dutch small cultural areas. Yeah. And from here to Amsterdam, it's 1.5 hours by train. If you want to go to Brussels, it's 3, 4 hours. If you want to go to Paris, it's 4 or 5 hours, and Berlin is 6 hours. So that's quite easy to do. And there are flex buses that are kind of Greyhound system, which will bring you also to Poland or to France and the deep south, etc. And they are very cheap. So a lot of students use the flex bus to travel around. And this is the railway station of Nijmegen. So, but you better get an old second-hand bike and buy a good chain. So then you have all you need to travel around in the city. Here you see the Faculty of Law. And as I said, Radboud is called after this guy who started the first hospital in the Netherlands. But our university started in 1923. So last year we had our first centenary, and that was a big, big party. And now the unique selling point, because that's the question you have to look at when you are going to see which university it should be. We have about 24,000 students and we have more than 6,000 staff. Not everybody of staff is teaching anymore. I don't do, but let's say if you have 5,000 teachers and 25,000 students, you don't need much mathematics to know that's 1 to 5. And that's really what no university else can offer you. I have been teaching at 7 universities in Europe, and sometimes I had 400 students, and then you have 5 minutes per month. So that's not a good division. So here there is really our selling point number one. Well, it's also a nice area. It's a green campus, and that is about a square kilometer. And it was the hunting ground of the rich industrial family who gave us 100 years ago this campus, where we started to build. And the building you see here are the social sciences. It was built, opened. It was opened 2 years ago, and it's really a nice building. And we want to be sustainable. So that is one of the main focuses of the universities. So this building already is energy neutral. And that means we want to do that for all other buildings too. In 2030, we will have no energy demand more than we produce. So, but it also means that if you study at Radboud, you get an obligatory course in sustainability and an obligatory course in philosophy. Because we say every academic needs to know those topics. Yeah? Well, there are modern facilities. This is a lab where the artificial intelligence students learn about robotics. And yeah, we have a lot of multimedia centers and good IT facilities. Even if you don't have a laptop or if it's broke, you go to the library and you can borrow one. And that's not a problem at all. All libraries are open till 10 o'clock in the evening, and they start 8 o'clock in the morning, so there is no excuse finishing your thesis or something when your laptop broke or when your internet is down, because on campus you can be there. And talking about high-tech facilities, here you see something which is unique in the world. The building on the right, which is more the gray color, that is where the strongest magnets in the world are, and we build them ourselves. The white building with Felix on it is the free electron laser lab, and the combination of that makes it unique. We have a huge magnet lab in Tallahassee, and there's another huge magnet lab in Japan, but those colleagues are flying over when they want to do something on the atomic level with the experiments for material sciences. And on the utmost left, where this deck is sitting on, and it's in the water, that is the nuclear magnetic resonance lab, where we do also material science, and the water is to isolate the magnetic waves. And we have also a root lab where you can see the roots of a plant growing. And then you see also that the other plant is sharing minerals or water with the other plant next to it. Also, it might be 4 meters away, but they know each other and how to find and exchange the stuff they need. So that is really fascinating to see. And we are going to build the strongest MRI scanner of the world. So a good hospital has a scanner of about 4 Tesla. And if you are on the research, you have 7 Tesla. We are going to build one of 14.5 Tesla, which is twice as strong as the strongest scanner, which is now standing in Paris. With that, we can see every single cell in the brain of a patient, and then we can see if the chemotherapy is working or not. So that is really what we are going to build, and in 3 years it has to be ready. And that means also clear that we are really focusing also in neuroscience. But perhaps you also know this, the graphene, which is the strongest material in the world, 10 times stronger than a diamond. And it was invented by Andrei Chaim and Konstantin Novoselov. Originally they were Russians, but Chaim is now Dutch and Novoselov is now British. And they discovered this material because they used our strong magnets, and in those days they were professors at Radboud, and that's why they got the Nobel Prize in 2010. And that's why you can use now your mobile phone and watch movies. Before that, you could only text, because the speed of the transmission of data is possible by this very, very thin material, which is called graphene. So perhaps you also know this picture on the left top corner. No, that was the first picture of the black hole made by Heino Falke and a team he got together because we needed people from all over the world who made a picture at the same time, at the same spot in the universe. And that was this stellar cognition of a black hole. If you look now at the website of this horizontal horizon, then you see the movie on the left corner. This is really on the website, and then you see the energy disappear in the black hole. Well, Heino Falk is also a teacher, and yeah, if you would study physics, then he would be perhaps your teacher. So the research is also very, very interdisciplinary. That means that if we are going to look at the neuroscience, we have psychologists, we have medical people, we have linguists, we have biologists, pharmaceutical people, etc. All are trying to understand what is happening there in the brain and how can we solve the problem of this patient. So all researchers are teaching, and most teachers are also doing the research. So that is yeah, typical for the European universities. Some very famous research institutes are perhaps, but you know, the Max Planck Institute, where I'm coming from myself. Then the High Field Magnet Lab I already introduced, but the brain research, which is a picture of these ladies, they are measuring what is happening in the girl on the right during the experiment. That's the Danvers Institute, and there's where we got a lot of money from Europe to make a master's program for that Europe-wide to become the master in neurotech. Well, there it is a very international community. We have more than 100 nationalities on campus. I had the scholarship meeting of the students last Thursday, and there were about 10 students from the US who got a scholarship from this select group of perhaps 50 students. So you're doing well as a country. And I like those guys because most of them are going to do a PhD afterwards, and that are paid jobs in the Netherlands. So we need more people from that. And what is very typical, also said 1 to 5, is the student pupil, student professor division. Well, you will get your personal student counselor too. So if there is a question, what is my best next step, or should I go more in neuroscience or more in human genetics, or it was a tough seminar or professor so and so, but no, I would like to do it, but perhaps it's not my cup of tea because I'm not too smart. No? Then the student counselor who knows you from the beginning, from scratch, after 2 years, she or he will say, okay, but you can do this. This professor is a bit weird, perhaps. So you can do this. And that is the way how we want you to communicate with us, because as soon as we know who you are, we can help you. So we have 7 faculties. We have more than 100 nationalities. And if you are going to see how many are successful, about 2/3 of it is doing the bachelor's, finishing the bachelor's in 4 years. And yeah, about 20% is coming from abroad. And about 69 and 96% has a job within half a year or a year after finishing their masters, because we are looking at masters. You call that undergraduate and graduate, but we are talking about bachelors and masters. The rankings is very important for American people. Oh, now I'm going to click something faster. In the QS ranking, which is the most commercial ranking, we are number 222, 222. And the Times ranking is 140, and the most important ranking we see as scientists, because that is where they really compare and give you insight in how they are measuring it. That's the AWU or Shanghai ranking from the UNESCO. And there we are 123. After quotations, that's the Leiden ranking, the CWTS ranking, we are number 97. 79, so no, 97, yeah. In the world. So that is not bad if you know that there are more than 20,000 universities in the world. So what are we offering in the bachelor's? We have all kind of research fields, and it's art, cultural and history, then language and communication, behavioral and social sciences, you would say psychology, yeah. But artificial intelligence is also belonging there, because that is man-machine interaction. So what can we learn from machines and what can machines learn from us? And you know that the Nobel Prize was given to our AI inventors, American people, but that they are now afraid that machines are getting cleverer than we are. So that is what you can evaluate in a study program like this, because this is more the social analysis of the robots. And in the Faculty of Science, where you can do computing science, we have more the programming side, so the more mathematical part of the robots. Yeah. Business and economics, we have business administration and we have economics. So what you call an MBA can be both. But economics and business economics is real the hard numbers. So bookkeeping, financial law, accountancy, that kind of hard stuff. And business administration is more the organization of a company. How do I know that the boss knows what is going on the work floor and vice versa? So also internal communication. And yeah, how do I keep my personnel motivated? How do I prevent burnouts? And how do I do the marketing? So that kind of more softer parts, that's done in the business administration. In science, we have biology, chemistry, computing science, molecular life sciences. And of course, we also have physics and astronomy, but that's not taught in English, unfortunately. Yeah? But I can't change that. And then we have a program called Philosophy, Politics, and Society. And that is a very important thing, and so quite popular. Why did Putin start this war in the Ukraine? That is because he was a KGB guy. So if you know about the history, what did he get as a training, then you know why this guy is acting so weird. Yeah? And what is going on in Israel and Palestine, that kind of conflicts, if you know more about this combination, then you can perhaps help with the solution and prevent conflicts, because that is what they want. They want that people understand each other better because they know about your philosophical background, but also about your religion, that kind of stuff, and what kind of a role has that in the societies of today. Yeah, all right. That is what we offer in the bachelor's. And we have 62 master's programs, and they are even broader. Medical sciences has also masters taught in English, like biomedical sciences, like molecular mechanisms of diseases. We have international law, and that is financial law, but also human rights and refugee law. So that is a very hot topic where we are working on. Political sciences, conflict studies, perhaps might be an answer. Physics and astronomy and psychology, we have a huge range of topics. So that might be developmental psychology, but also the industrial psychology, the selection of the right people for a company, that kind of stuff. So go to the website and look at the contents of the program. You see the courses, and then you click on the course and you find the content of the course, and you say, okay, that's something where I'm interested in. So there are deadlines for application, and if you have been watching this slide very well, you saw two programs with a star on it, an asterisk on it, that are selective bachelor's programs. We call that numbers fixes, and they have a deadline of the 15th of January. You don't even have your diploma at that moment, so we are not looking at your GPA that much. We are saying, okay, you apply with the last school report you have, and then we see if you have the right subjects, because the subjects decide if you are going to survive the first year. And we don't need more students, but we need the right students who have the luggage in high school programs for surviving the first year. And all others who are doing not those two programs with an asterisk, they can apply until the 1st of April, because we have to arrange visa, etc. for you, and that takes time. Yeah? So let me explain a few programs of my own faculty, and we have biology and medical biology, and ecology also belongs to that, because I heard that there was a question about environmental sciences, and that is part of biology. At the master's level, we split that up, but at the beginning, we start with what every biologist needs to know. It doesn't matter if he's going to hunt butterflies or going to heal the tumor of a patient. They need to know what is a cell and what are the differences between the cell of a body and a human body, but also an animal body, and how did life start at the world. Yeah, so it's a fundament of 3 semesters for every program, which is obligatory for all students of that program. And you see here top opleiding, this blue button on it. That means that the Dutch students voted it or rated it as the best program. We get a grade too as teachers. And that is published on the website of the ministry. And there you can see if I would have been teaching, if I did it well or not. And if I wouldn't do it well, then my dean is going to say, hey, Huub, now you have to change your didactics. So students are giving a grade to the professors, and that is, well, they count, okay, which biology program was the best in the Netherlands. And that was in 2023, the biology of our faculty. And what are we doing? Well, it is this complete area of biology. It doesn't matter if it is biomedical part like pregnancy, or if it's a virus like you have all seen with the COVID structure. What is this thing doing with the pinnacles on it? Yeah. And there you see mushrooms, but also plants. So are they adapting to the climate change? So totally the whole program you can do. Yeah. Water quality. Let's have a look at the first year's courses. Then you see animal evolution. Yes, because you can see why are animals getting rid of this world, and that they say, hey, that it could happen to us humans too, when we are going to continue this way how we are using the world. But animal physiology also learns us something. The eyes of an eagle are much better than mine eyes. And why is that? And what is it? Because his brain is much more smaller than my brain is. So that's where you start reflecting on it. And what can we learn from the animal eye to repair blindness of people? And we do that with fish experiments, yeah, because the fish eye looks the most common to the human eye. Biodiversity, brain and behavior. There it is already. Immediately in the first semester, you have brain and behavior. Then cellular biochemistry, ecology, as what I said, we have the whole range of it. Evolution and development of plants, that's the second semester. Then genetics, plant genetics, but also human genetics are coming. Genomics is also genetics. But then how do I visualize it and how do I manipulate it, yeah, with an enzyme and so on. Histology, and in the third semester you start with human biology, the brain also again, but also the other kidney and that kind of stuff. Man and environment, which role are we playing as a species? Mathematics for biologists, of course, you need to do statistics and that kind of stuff. Microbial metabolism, microbiology, and then in the fourth semester, then the students split up. The human biologists do the molecular biology and recombinant DNA, and the guys from the green biology, they are going to hunt for butterflies or looking for plants somewhere in the forest. Statistics. So we have, in biology, we have specializations or trajectories. And in the bachelors, we have ecology, microbiology, physiology and adaptation, and man and environment. That's the green biology. And we have the human biology, functional genomics, and the neurobiology. That is more the medical biology. So, and you see also that the master changes then. And on the top, you have then communities and ecosystems, microbiology, adaptive organisms, and water and environment, because water is the most important part of the world. And that's what we need more, and there will be wars about water in the next decade, I fear. Medical biology can be human biology, medical epigenomics, so that's the genetics, and the neurobiology. And because we are that huge in the neurosciences, we got from Europe, we got a lot of money to start a new master's, and that is the European Master in Neurotechnology. And of course, we can't do it alone. And that is really what I like in this university too. It's teamwork, yeah. And a team means also from other universities. So we join a network. We started that with Bonn, Reykjavik, Cluj, Lille, Elche and the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, which has the best hospital in Europe. And in Elche, they can do also brain operations. So there are implanting chips in the brain of people so that blind people can see already. And yeah, that's very tricky, of course. So you need very specialist neurologists to do so. And they are in Elche. So that's why we said, hey guys, we need you too. Yeah. And combine these chips with a Google Glass, then they know, okay, I'm now inside the building, there are no cars moving here, so that thing what is moving there must be a human being. Yeah, so that kind of thing, that is what we are working at. And there you see, you need a lot of different disciplines to solve these problems. Yeah. Science and society, it's also that we have to think about the ethics of that kind of stuff. Not only genetical manipulation, but also chips in the brain, what's going to happen. So we have to make it aware to the student, to the patient. This is not done before somewhere in the world. We don't know what is going to happen in 20 years with this chip. Yeah? So that kind of ethics is discussed in science and society. Molecular life sciences, and a lot of people say that's molecular biology, but it isn't. It is chemistry. So, and it has 90 students in the first year. So what kind of topics do we see here? And then you see immediately, oh, this is completely different from the courses what I mentioned before. Chemical analysis, structures of atoms and molecules. Then how is an atom built and how do they together build a molecule? Then a lot of mathematics, thermodynamics, biochemistry, mechanics. Oh, that's physics. Electricity and magnetism, that's physics. So a biologist then immediately says, oh my God. But for a chemist, this is quite common and he needs to know this. Yeah. Organic chemistry, synthesis lab, cell biophysics, and then sustainable chemistry. There it is again, sustainable chemistry. Yeah. So this is 50% chemistry in the first year, 25% of physics, and 15% of maths. The last 10% of biological studies and medicine. So that is why also the admission criteria are completely different than for the biology. Yeah. Second and third year molecular life sciences, there come then the biological topics like immunology, endocrinology, and the toxicology, the medical embryology. So there you see, hey, that are the topics where the biologists are working on too. But you have a completely different point of view on the problem. Let's say we have a tumor in the kidney. Then the doc gets something out, sends it in the lab. A biologist is going to say, how often do these cells split up and reproduce each other? So how much time does it take before it goes into another organ or via the blood into the brain even? Yeah? So how do I prevent that? So he is looking at the whole organism. A molecular life science guy or lady, she is looking at the atomic or molecular level. She says the kidney is already an elephant. Yeah. So what is happening there on the cell level, and how do I prevent that the whole kidney is taken over by the tumor, and how do I save that? So it's the same problem, but a completely different perspective. And that is why the doc needs both of these. Because then he knows, okay, they tell me I have to use this medicine, this drug, and then he knows, okay, 400 milligram, because that's what he learned. But he doesn't know why the tumor grows. And that is explained by people like the biologist and this molecular life science student. In the masters, you can do medicinal chemistry, so develop new drugs, the chemistry of life, that is what is happening in an embryo. How do we explain that? And perhaps we can reproduce something. Neurobiology, medical epigenomics. So you say, hey, we had that also in the biology group, but you have the same topic with another perspective because we need all of them. Yeah? Biomedical sciences and very popular molecular mechanisms of diseases. And that is really the big future, where people are needed more and more and more. In computing science, so now for something completely different, we have also several topics. You can do data science, you can do software science, which you would have expected. But much more important at the moment is cybersecurity, because the quantum computer is coming, and if, let's say 4 or 5 years, there will be one on the world, and then it's the question: is it US? Is it China? Is it Russia? And we don't want them to hack our defense ministry or my bank, because I want to have my bank money safe. Yeah, so that is what is the discussion in cybersecurity. And they combine artificial intelligence and cybersecurity because we are not that clever that we can invent everything. But you could make a program instead of zeros and one with smileys. And what is a smiley meaning? Yeah. Before you hack that, now you have to be a very, very clever computer, and then you need much more time, and then our security systems immediately know, oh, now someone is trying to hack us, alarm. Yeah? So that kind of things is what our professors are doing in the cryptography, a completely new kind of programming. And there you need a lot of mathematics for that. So it's much more about mathematics in computing science than just making a nice program. And you can combine that with psychology, that's the AI. What can a machine do what we can't do? An example, for instance, you have people who are in coma. They can't talk anymore, but a lot of patients understand what you are telling. And they can move with the pupils of the eye, left, right, 0 and 1. So that is also the answer, yes or no. So if the doc would then ask a simple question, do you have pain? Yes or no, then we can measure that with a swimming suit on the head for the neurology. Then we can say, yes, the pupil is moving to the right, and it says yes. Then the doc can ask, okay, is it in the leg? Yes, no. So you have to ask simple questions, but you are still in contact with a patient which we can't talk to. Yeah? So that is an example of the AI in combination with psychology. So let's talk about money. Yeah? And what are the tuition fees? We have a legal tuition fee for the state. The state is getting the tuition fee, not us. And for people from the European Union, so if they have a nationality of the European Union, they all pay the same amount of money, and that's per year. And that is this year, 2,600 euros. So if you're only a US native, then you have to pay about 70,000 euro for a program for a whole year. And that is not the housing, etc. That is just doing it because that are the real costs of a program. So we don't make much money, much profit out of it, but yeah, there are the costs, also the overhead of the building and the heating and the teachers, etc. Yeah? So that would cost. Now another big topic is the housing. And in Amsterdam, it's very difficult to find a room, and in Nijmegen, it's not easy too. But if you start in time, 99% gets a room. So we have here the building on the left. That's one of the dorms, the bigger dorms. And it's about 500 meters away from my campus building where I'm working. And here, this is a quite luxurious dorm where the students can, as a couple, they can have an own kitchen and an own bathroom, and they can do. No, it's an apartment for 2 people. But there are also dorms where you have only a small room, let's say 10, 12 square meters, and that you share the kitchen and the bathroom with other students. And so it differs from apartment and complexes, like we call them. Where is it in the town? And we have about 400 spots in the town, and that could be an old villa where you're all living with 6 or 7 students, till a big dorm like this where 400 students are living, etc. Next to that, there are also private landlords, of course, and we have a website, Kamernet. Kamer means room in the Dutch language, so kamernet.nl. There you can also have your first inquiries. What are the rent? How much would I pay? And there's a Facebook group of the Radboud students helping you, because students are moving out or they are going away for an exchange semester, and they want someone to sublet the room. They are on the Facebook group. Yeah. Well, how can I find housing? Well, start early. So look and about half a year before you come, start looking at the website of the SSHN. That is the the housing company of the university. And if you have the conditional letter, that it would be enough to apply. And as soon as you get a room, then you get from the admission office, you get the letter. Yes, you are accepted completely as a student. Yeah. And yeah, it's not that easy, perhaps. Then you have to go and look on the other side of the bank of the river. Now, Arnhem is at 20 kilometers, 50 minutes by train, but also suburbs where there's a good bus connection, and there you can find easier room because people are not thinking about that. But we can help you if you write us a letter. We can give you some tips. Hey, look at that area of that suburb because it's easier to find it there. Yeah. And there's a train stopping on campus, so that is not difficult to get. Yeah, and for the admissions, well, we look at the high school diploma, and I will go in detail more better, but it is always individually. So it doesn't say that if you have a GPA of 4 that you are accepted. No, not at all. It's just going to look at which program do you want to do and how did you prepare for that. And if you think the preparation is okay, then you get a go. And for the masters too, if you did a general biology program with plant genetics and want to shift then to the neurobiology, then you say, whoa, what is happening? Eh? You will not survive then, and you get a pre-masters. Yeah? But if you have enough courses in your bachelor's done in the neurosciences or in the relevant drugs, then we say, okay, this student is accepted. So, and there's an e-check where you can answer some questions, then you know, okay, I would be admissible. So most of you will have a US program with APs. And in general, we say you need 4 or more APs to get a diploma, which is equivalent to a Dutch VWO diploma. And that's a gymnasium in the Netherlands. So non-academic courses, which are quite common in the US, they don't count at all in the Netherlands. That is fun. And it's good for your development and psychology, etc. But it's not preparing you for a program in the studies. And you must have a grade 3 out of 5 at least. Otherwise, the AP doesn't count. And high school, the GPA must be 3.5. So you don't know that at the moment you apply, but we can see, okay, this is in general, it is going to have this minimum. Yeah. And well, for biology, we say biology, chemistry, mathematics, and physics. They are where we are looking at, and there must be 2 obligatory APs in biology and chemistry. And if you need physics, then it was 1 or 2, and calculus, we accept both of them. Yeah? So there are restrictions to the combinations you do. In computing science, we are going to look at mathematics. As I said, we are mathematical based, but also chemistry and physics, because that proves that you can, you are used to the abstract thinking, which is the problem with computing science. You have to really think in advance 10 years further than what you can do now with a computer. Yeah? And that is why we say either physics or chemistry must be in an AP. For molecular life sciences and chemistry, you need to have chemistry and physics. So it's much more important than biology. They say biology you do with your left hand. No, so that is the easy part. And that's why, as I said, for each program we have different criteria. For the AI of psychology, they only look at mathematics. So that is even easier to get in because you don't need the chemistry. And the mathematics is not as important in that program as the mathematics is in computing science. Yeah. A few others are going for the International Baccalaureate program, so the IBDP. And then we say you have to do the diploma program, so not the career-related program. You need to have 30 points for an entrance in my faculty, but in the social sciences, you only need 24 points. So that is much lower. So also there you have to look at the program, click on the admission criteria, go to the IBDP, and then you find these detailed descriptions of your grades, etc. Grades must be 4 points or higher, and subject of the group 6, the arts, will not be considered might be an H level, a high level, but it doesn't matter for the sciences. Yeah? And that is completely different from the US thinking. Yeah? So for molecular life sciences, we are going to look at chemistry, mathematics, and physics. For computing science, again, mathematics and either physics, chemistry, or computing science. Yeah, so you see, it is comparable with the APs. For biology, again, biology and chemistry must be on high level, and mathematics, it can be A&A or A&I. But for the other programs, molecular life sciences, A&I is too easy, so not accepted. For artificial intelligence, they only need 24 points, no? And you need 3 higher level subjects, which mathematics is an obligatory course. Well, it should be, yeah, because a little bit of mathematics you should know. So go to the program website and click on that. Yeah. And as I said, I mentioned already two programs which are having a selection and placement one. Biology and psychology, the most popular studies. Yeah? But for biology, we only do that because a lot of people have biology as a plan B. They want to become a student of medicine. So they apply for biology as a plan B in case they don't get the medicine spot. So we have about 500 applicants and we have 220 spots. But in reality, never came more than 150 students. So you don't need to worry that much, but you have to apply in time. So that's an obligation of the ministry. 15th of January, that's the deadline. For psychology is another cup of tea. About 3,000 applicants for about 450 spots. So they need to do a real selection and they want to know, why do you want to study psychology? And why did you choose Nijmegen? So you have to study the website, look at the contents of the research and of the curriculum. And then you say, hey, that course is fascinating me and that is what I want to do later in my job. And I got a letter for the biologist where people are writing about food. And then I know this guy applied for Wageningen because they are doing food, but we are not doing that. So you just change the name and then you drop out in the ranking, of course. So be a bit clever and make your homework when you apply. So, but the deadline is the most important thing, the 15th of January. And the building you see now is the building of dentistry, by the way. Yeah, also a very nice building. Student life. Well, you are not only studying, you want to be in a nice spot, and Nijmegen is a nice spot with a lot of parks, and you are having a lot of nature and 30-minute cycling. You have the lakes where you can swim. To the south, you have the heather area, and to the east, you have the woods. So it's really a nice spot to get rid of the university stress, etc. But also the city life itself. It has more pubs than days in the year. And you start already with the introduction week or the orientation week. That is in the 3rd week of August. We always start the academic year at the 1st of September. Yeah? So in the 3rd week of August, all freshmen, they are starting with a huge week of introductions where you get to know the other fellow students of a program, but also from the other programs. So then you have a party in the evening hours, and yeah, that's really fun. As you can see, that was a picture made in last August. Yeah? So you meet there a lot of international students, but also the Dutch students, and you learn to cycle. So if you never have been on a bike, we go with you to a park where the meadows are there or the lawns are there, so that you don't fall hard, and then you learn how to cycle. Yeah? And here you make friends, of course, and sometimes that are friends for life. Yeah? But we have also a nice sports center, and I know that the US universities have immense sports center because that is professional, but this is universal. Yeah, it's on university level, and that is something else as these football players or what else you are having in the US. But it was voted in the International Student Barometer, the last one we did, as the best sports center of the world, at university level. Yeah? And here you can do more than 80 sports. You can even do climbing or sailing or horse ride, etc. It's no, of course, fitness is common, but you can do more than 80 sports, and it costs about 100 70 euros a year. So let's say 12, 13 euros per month. Yeah. And it's fun. It's really good for your body to do so. And these are psychology students I see on the t-shirts. All right. Well, also in the introduction week, we do things like this, because then the weather is fine and then you can drop in the water. But there are a lot of groups where you can join to the others. There are theater groups, there are music, there's a big band, there are choirs, there are debating clubs, there are international students organizations where you can also learn how do the Vietnamese cook or the Indonesian people cook, because we have a lot of Indonesians in the Netherlands. Also reading modern books, that kind of stuff. That's everything. And every study program has its own student organization where they organize excursions, but also movie evenings. And the biology group has the best party of the year, the students say. I was never there because, no, but they say the BV party, you have to be there. Yeah. So how do we help you? Well, during the studies, we have student advisors, we have mentors, tutors, a student dean. Oh, what are they? No, a student advisor, the student counselor. No, what is going to be your future? No, what do you want to learn? And then they are going to make a tailor-made program for you. Mentors are all the students of that same study program, and tutors are the assistants of the professors. So they have a full job, and they are also seeing, okay, what did my professor explain and did the students not understand? So then the tutor is explaining it again with his examples or her words, and then perhaps you understand it better. A student dean is someone who is supporting you when you have problems with your landlord or psychological problems. They are going to see, okay, how can we help you and what do you need? Do you need legal support? Do you need financial support? That kind of stuff. And trainers are for your career. So that is quite common. After graduation, we have alumni relations, we have a career service where they check your CV, where you can train your job interview and that kind of stuff. And here you see a building of the presidency of this boarding, the central board. So let's combine it and come to an end. It is really a good university. We belong to the top 1% of the world. And I have alumni working at Stanford, at Harvard, and the physics group now has become a full professor. But also in China, in Singapore, at the NUS and at the NTU University, they are full professors. So that is really fun for me to see. And yeah, if you want it, you can make a personal program. There are students saying, hey, I want to learn this kind of topics in the biology, like coral reefs, and we don't have it, but we have a partner in Australia and a partner in Scotland, because you have coral reef in Scotland too. Yeah. And then we can say, okay, do an exchange there. And they have a course you want. So that is how we try to make a program that brings you to the point you want to get in your career. So we have virtual open days, we have really open days, we have webinars, we have a bachelor experience day, then you do the courses of a student. You do the exchange, do the lab work also, and then you know, okay, this is what is expecting me in a year. Yeah? We have virtual fairs and we have real fairs. A webinar, how to apply, is on the 24th of October. The real open day is on the 1st and the 2nd November. A webinar about student life on the 14th of November. So go to the website and then you see, okay, there are the students, I can ask them questions. And they are willing to help you. And go to YouTube movies, etc. Every program has also YouTube. Or TikTok, which is not my cup of tea, but yeah, I'm another generation. Then, if you have questions, you can mail to studyinformation@ru.nl. And if you want to mail me, that's admissionsforbachelors@science.ru.nl. That's a team, of course, but then you can say, hey, you saw my webinar, then I will answer you. Yeah. And the central admissions team is about technical questions or legal questions. What is a legal copy? What do you need, etc. That kind of stuff. So that is what I would tell you, and that was my last presentation. Okay, then I can give it back to Cornelia again. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was a fantastic, insightful presentation, Hub. That was amazing. Thank you. Before we move into the Q&A, let me put up our last slide. Hold on. With the contact information again. So here's one question from Robin. Is it possible to get an undergraduate degree in biology and then a master's in geology, or are the two fields too unrelated?
Yeah, that is quite uncommon to do so, but the University of Utrecht has a geology program which is more in the biological field. So then we would say, okay, you can do the biology bachelor's at Nijmegen, and then you switch to Utrecht, which is about 80 kilometers from Nijmegen, and then to do then this geological part, because they are also doing the research on Nova Zembla, for instance, where they see the climate change, or in Greenland. You see already what is expecting us in 10 years.
Okay, well, thank you. I hope that answers the question, Robin. I have a couple for you.
Okay.
In terms of internships and research opportunities during the undergraduate study, could you tell us a little bit more about that? Is that an option for students?
Yeah, that it's often combined with the bachelor thesis, that it's not necessary, but differ from program to program. But if you are doing biology, you have a 3-month internship. Computing science have a 2-month internship. And in international business communication, where you learn to do the marketing for a product in a foreign language like Spanish, then you go to Spain and you do an internship in a company over there. Also to improve your Spanish, but also to see how are they working in the company, how does the organization tick, let's say it like that. And that are the intercultural differences which you should know, and you are going to do the marketing in the masters for a project in the Hispanic world. Yeah, so there the internships are also obligatory. And it differs from program to program. In psychology, I don't know if they do an internship, and the masters they do, but in the bachelor's, I don't know for sure.
Okay, perfect. That is good to know. Thank you so much. In regards to the Dutch language, is there a requirement for students to actually, is it like part of the curriculum, for example, that students will have to take a language course in Dutch? As I know, obviously it's not a requirement for the application, right? But later on, once they study, it might change.
It's not yet. That is what I'm going to say now, because we have a new government and they think that the students should learn some Dutch. So, but I don't, in the new proposal of the law, which I read, you have to study 50 hours in the Dutch language. And if you never have learned the Dutch language before, that is not much. Then you can introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm John, I'm from Los Angeles and I'm studying biology or something. And now I want 2 beer. That's it. But if they would have asked me, I would say making a level on it of B1 at least. Then you can also write a nice essay, which is not that complicated on the topic, but that would be the B1 level. But they didn't ask for that. So it is not at the moment obligatory, but I expect that in the next winter they will no, give this new law, and then they will say, okay, every student has to invest 50 hours in the Dutch language. At the university, we always promoted that. We had already a free course for the students, Social Dutch called. So that is also to make it easier to go shopping and to go to the green store and say, hey, I want spruitjes. Yes, that's sprouts. Everybody knows English here, but yeah, it's easy to say so. And well, that's also making it more fun when you hear a joke someone is telling and that you say, hey, I understood that. And now you make a joke back. So that kind of stuff is what we call social Dutch. So we offer that course for free for all students. And at the language center, you can do courses on every level in more than 10 languages, but In the Dutch level, you can even get a C1 level, which is near native. Yeah, so that takes more than 50 hours. Yeah, but we offer those courses too. Yeah, but
Okay,
they are not
perfect.
obligatory.
Oh, that's good to know. So in terms of the Dutch language, we just have to see what's happening next
Yeah.
in the future, so to say. Okay,
Only the
perfect.
social Dutch course level,
Exactly.
really the introduction, that will be obligatory.
Perfect. Okay, great. And then maybe lastly, do you have a takeaway message for future students who would like to study in the Netherlands, maybe at Radboud University for a bachelor's degree? What would you tell them?
Well, start questioning. Start looking at yourself. Who are you and what would you like to do? And then mail people like me or mail for us to meet a student via WhatsApp, etc. That kind of stuff. It's so easy to get the real information. The student will tell you how she or he survived the first year and what were the difficulties. And then you say, oh, am I good in that? No, or not? No, so
Perfect, perfect. I think that's a good point that you just mentioned on to connect to students at your university is actually really great. And I think you make it very easy. You have it on your website where students can connect to specific students from a major that a student is interested in. So,
and you can chat anytime on the website with a student from that
mhm.
program. Then, because there are also alumni or students for exchange sitting now in Singapore or in the US even, where we have exchange universities too. So in a different time zone, and they are chatting 24/7 usually.
Great. Yeah, I know there are so many opportunities
Yeah.
really to find out more, that's for sure. Okay, perfect. So since there are no other further questions, I would like to thank everyone for joining us. Hub, thank you so much for having made the time to give us this informative presentation today, especially since it's your Saturday evening already. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Last but not least, for everyone who joined us a little bit later, please know that the webinar has been recorded and we will post it on our Global College Advisors YouTube channel later on this month. I also want to thank everyone for attending today's session and for being part of our international college webinar series this fall. A huge thank you to the 9 international universities that have presented over the past few weeks, helping us all discover the incredible education opportunities available beyond the United States. And as we wrap up this webinar series, I'm excited to announce that we will be transitioning to monthly international college talks starting soon. So stay tuned for more details on how you can continue exploring global education options. And with that, I'm wishing everyone a wonderful weekend. Take care and see you soon. Thank you.
Bye bye.